As the leader of India, he certainly is by definition a global leader. I think he's got strong opinions on a lot of subjects. I think one of the subjects that will be discussed here in Washington will be trade relations between the two countries and integration of India, not just in the WTO context in international affairs on the economic side, but more broadly. I think that's very important. I think India has a lot of opportunities here as you see American, Japanese, European companies unwinding their supply chains in China, not making additional capital commitments. India, it seems to me, provides a very attractive place that they might consider going. Having access to millions of people who speak English is a huge competitive advantage for India. And so there are real areas here where greater cooperation, certainly between the U.S. and India, can provide enormous benefits for both countries. Well, I think this is a very important visit because I think uh, India and the United States have a lot to talk about on a whole range of issues, international politics, economics, many things many challenges that confront both countries. And I think there are important decisions to be made in both countries, and if I may say so, particularly in India, about how to deal with some of the threats and challenges that we face. So I think a meeting between the two leaders of the countries makes a lot of sense, and it's been a couple of years since the prime minister was here in the U.S., so it's good to host him here again. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see what comes out of this.
So we have seen the strengthening of relationship between India and USA, both under the leadership of President Trump and Joe Biden. And the relationship and convergence is not only on bilateral issues, but also on multilateral fora as well. How do you see that going forward?
Well, I think the big challenge that confronts India and the United States is how to deal with China. I think the view in the United States, shared to a large extent across party lines, is that China is a large threat to the U.S. and its friends and allies around the world, with its hegemonic aspirations, not just in Asia but beyond. It's been stealing intellectual property for a long time. It's been trying to bully and intimidate countries along its Pacific and Indian frontiers, and a lot is going to depend on how the countries in the region align with countries outside the region to deal with it. And the two most important countries in that uh, uh, complex situation are India and the United States. I think it's been very important that India has joined with Japan and Australia and the U.S. in the Asian Security Quad. But I think there are a lot of other questions as well. You know, there's a debate, at least I see the debate by some in India who say that closer security relations with the U.S. and others is important. But I see others in India say, no, we should try and hedge between the United States and China. I understand there's a long history here. I just say I think it's very difficult to walk a tightrope like that. And I think India's interests lie in closer relations with the United States. And I hope that's the view that Prime Minister Modi increasingly accepts, because I think that would contribute to the security both of India and the United States and many other countries too. Between the U.S. and India, we can have a few agreements that come out of this summit. I think that would be a plus. I think India has lots of opportunities to expand its own defense industry indigenously, and I think that's something to be looked at as well.